My name is Jeff Morgan. I am from Dallas, Texas. I'm going to continue to talk further about this issue with Jeff Younger and Ann Georgulas. And in this writ of mandamus that Jeff Younger filed, what I noticed as well was that the respondent was Mary Brown, Judge Mary Brown. Judge Mary Brown clearly abused her discretion, and there were 5 different charges against Judge Mary Brown. Now, once again, Judge Mary Brown is the respondent to this. So we need to hear from Mary Brown as why she did it. She's the respondent in this writ of mandamus, and she was a judge that permitted it. She's being looked at for abuse of discretion. That's why the emergency stay was being filed and why the writ of mandamus has gone up to the Texas Supreme Court. But Mary Brown, Judge Mary Brown of the 301st District Court, Mary Brown, the respondent clearly abused her discretion in concluding that the geographical scope change was in the best interest of the child and for his welfare and safety. Now, once again, here's the best interest of the child. So many things are done in the best interest of the child. Ann Georgulas wants to move her business in the best interest of the child. The whole thing is nonsense. The best interest of the child, you know what? I think I want to go to a strip bar in the best interest of the child. I think I want to spend all my money on lottery tickets in the best interest of the child. I think I want to drink a whole liter or whatever of whiskey in the best interest of the child. That sounds crazy, right? But the best interest of the child can be used to justify anything. All you have to do is say, I believe this is in the best interest of the child. You could probably find some way to force your child to have sex with somebody and declare, well, I thought it was in the best interest of the child. Now, that is illegal, of course, in the state of Texas, but I'm sure that not in the not too distant future, there will be some attorney, who knows, it may even be Jessica Janicek of the Kutzville Law Firm, they will find a way to actually defend this practice of letting children have sex with other people or with adults in the name of the best interest of the child. Who knows? But just pure speculation on my part. But maybe Jessica Janicek could respond to this. After all, she's advocating for the sex change, for the castration, the chemical castration of a boy who has perfectly normally functioning sex organs in the name of the best interest of the child. The respondent clearly, number 2, the respondent clearly abused her discretion in failing to consider the impact to the children's education. The court conducted no analysis. So what had happened is that there was an order in place that Ann Georgulas had to stay in Dallas County, and now because of what's the pushback she's getting, the feedback that she's getting, the pushback she's getting from other people in the state, and the notoriety that she's receiving, and I would say probably rightly so. If somebody does something that evil, they should probably have some notoriety attached to them. But anyway, so now she's seeking to have the child move to a different state in the best interest of the child, and Mary Brown's going to go along with it. But what Mr. Younger is saying is that they consider the impact of the children's education. There was no analysis done. The court conducted no analysis to find out whether this was in the best interest of the child or not. Again, whatever that means. But this was an abuse of discretion by Judge Mary Brown. You can't just say something and do something and say, oh, it's in the best interest of the child. Like I said, before you know it, you're going to have people defending sexual relations among children in the name of the best interest of the child. And there are some really whacked out perverts that actually do that, like perhaps Alfred Kinsey and his ilk. They would probably say, yeah, children should have sex. There's a whole group, psychists, and that want to say, hey, men should be able to have sex with underage children, and underage children should have sexual right to engage in sexual intercourse with adults. They're actually advocating that, and I'm sure all they need to do is get an attorney, maybe even from the Kutzville Law Firm, maybe even Jessica Janicek, to advocate for these things, saying that it's in the best interest of the children, and take it to Mary Brown, who might even be able to find a way to justify this. Number 3, the respondent clearly abused her discretion in failing to consider the practical impact of compliance on the father. She was seeking to burden the father's ability to maintain a continuous, ongoing relationship with his children. Now, one of the things that Jessica Janicek, the attorney who's defending this heinous practice right now, who's defending Ann Georgulas, who's basically is saying, we're going to be advocating for child castration, even though she says, we're not doing that, we're just looking out for the best interest of the child. One of the things that they've said is that, well, Mr. Younger has had the ability to have supervised visitation for the last year, and he's not exercised it even once. Now, if you listen to the testimony, which is also in the transcripts, which is in the writ of mandamus, Mr. Younger says he will not participate in the sexual abuse of his child, James. James hates being seen by his father in girls' dresses. James only presents himself as a girl to the mother, not to Mr. Younger. He hates it. He's embarrassed by that. And Jeff Younger will not have a part of this. And in addition to that, Jeff Younger will not pay for the abuse of his child. That is his position. And there was really no reason that supervised visitation should take place. This was merely another dirty attorney trick, in my opinion, from Koonspoler Law Firm, from the dirty attorney, Jessica Janicek. Dirty attorney, I'm going to tell you that's my opinion. I think it's probably a pretty accurate description. But Jessica Janicek, again, in my opinion, is a very dirty attorney, filthy attorney, morally corrupt attorney. But again, that's just my opinion. So she can't really sue me for my opinion. Anyway, so they wanted Mr. Younger to pay all of this money to be able to see his children. He would have to fly out to California. He would have to pay for supervised visitation out there. They're trying to bankrupt Mr. Younger because he dare stand up for his son, James. The fourth allegation of abuse was that the respondent clearly abused her discretion because the effect of the temporary order will be to remove jurisdiction to California. And this is what's going on with Senate Bill 107. Once they move to California, and after January the 1st, 2023, California has a law in place that basically would permanently kick the father out of his son's life. And what they would do, this is a temporary order that would be made permanent because the jurisdiction would be transferred to the state of California. California knows that what they're doing is unconstitutional. They've even stated so, but they're going to do it anyway because I guess they must hate the intolerant, anti-LGBTQ, far-right extremist Governor Greg Abbott. For those of us who live in Texas, we do not believe that Greg Abbott is far right. We do not believe that he's intolerant. There's a lot of things that he's moral about, but there are things that we don't think that he's taken a strong enough stand on. And at the same time, we have California who's trying to portray Greg Abbott as being like this extremist and everything like that. Again, the people in the state of Texas, many of us do not believe he's that whatsoever. But at least he's standing up for that which is right in this case. But by allowing Ann to go to California, this would be to make a temporary order permanent. By the way, temporary order should have the characteristic of being temporary, not permanent. Yet I've known of people that have been under temporary orders for years and years and years. This is another problem that we have with our family courts in Texas. Finally, the respondent clearly abused her discretion because the effect of the order deprives the father and the children of their right to venue in Texas and the protection of Texas law. See, in Texas, at least to some degree, we are still protecting our children. California is not. Texas is. And what Mary Brown is trying to do is take away the protections of the state of Texas afforded to the children in Texas and basically throw them out defenseless of the state of California. So respondent Mary Brown clearly abused her discretion. To the best of my knowledge, Mary Brown was supposed to respond by December the 28th, yesterday at noon. And from everything that I've seen, if I have this understanding correctly, she has not responded, but Jessica Janicek has responded. And I'm just kind of wondering in the back of my mind if Mary Brown is the respondent, why is Jessica Janicek, who is there to be the attorney for Ann Georgulas, arguing in front of Mary Brown, why is she responding at all? Mary Brown has not responded. I'm not an attorney, I don't know this stuff. I'm just telling you that from my observation, that the fact that Jessica Janicek would be responding really strikes me as completely odd and like, what is going on here? And that Mary Brown would even ask her to do so, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. Is there now a new attorney-client privilege being established? Is this attorney who was defending Ann Georgulas now defending Mary Brown? I don't know. I really don't know what's going on. Somebody who knows this stuff much better than I do can perhaps give some additional light to this, some flavor to this. I don't know. But what I do know is this. The reason that Jeff Younger filed this writ of mandamus, this writ of prohibition, this emergency state, is because currently there is no remedy at law. Mary Brown has taken her judicial discretion. She has abused her discretion, which is why she is being charged with abusing her discretion to basically allow this abuse to take place. Mary Brown, I believe, is guilty of child abuse. I did call up CPS. I reported both Mary Brown and Jessica Janicek for child abuse. To the best of my knowledge, CPS did nothing about it. I think they looked into it, but I think maybe I called up the wrong CPS, like I called up the wrong area, so perhaps that's what happened. But this is child abuse. Everybody would agree this is child abuse. I stand with Mr. Younger. I hope that this abuse is rectified. I hope that the state of Texas, the Supreme Court, acts swiftly and promptly. And I will say this, that we do have people in California that are perhaps looking out for the whole situation. And that's all I'm going to say about that right now. We need to be doing something here. We need to also have perhaps our Texas Rangers, who have jurisdiction in all 50 states, as I understand, go to California and bring back Ann Georgulas, and bring back the children and return the children to Mr. Younger, and perhaps even have Ann Georgulas be arrested for parental kidnapping under this abuse of discretion that they knew was probably a predetermined outcome by Judge Mary Brown. Jessica Janicek, the attorney from Coons Fuller Law Firm, has been a big supporter of Mary Brown. So I'm pretty sure that there's probably something going on here, that Mary Brown is maybe helping to repay Coons Fuller for their support of her as in the past and even currently. There's some big shenanigans going on here. We need to stop this abuse and hold them all accountable. Ann Georgulas, Jessica Janicek, Coons Fuller Law Firm, and Mary Brown. Thank you.